iPhone 11 Pro Max versus Galaxy S10 Plus. Let's see which one comes out on top. Coming up, let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 11 Pro Max or the Galaxy S10 Plus. Let's find out which one comes out on top here. Beginning with design, the 11 Pro Max and the Galaxy S10 Plus, both a similar size phone, but very different in a lot of ways. Now, beginning with the 11 Pro Max, you can see matte textured back. So the back of this device is pretty unique feeling. And then we have that camera square up there with the 3 cameras in it. We have triple 12 megapixels, and you can see it's pretty flush. So that's a nice touch. At least it doesn't stick out too much, but it does definitely show off its looks. Now, going around the edges of the 11 Pro Max, surgical grade stainless steel, so very high quality material. You can see that on the bottom we do have our lightning port still. In addition to that, there's no headphone jack for this phone, so whether you care about that or not is really up to you. But you can see just beautifully matched midnight green stainless steel. And right here we still have our classic silent switch and volume markers. But what I really want to note is that the front of the 11 Pro Max really hasn't changed much. We have a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR display, but it still has a notch. So it's a pretty conservative design choice by Apple, but pretty classic Apple to just take the same design and just refine it a little bit. It is a little bit heavier, so if you like a hefty phone, you might really appreciate the 11 Pro Max. Now, for the Galaxy S10 Plus, a very different feel, a lot more reflective, a lot shinier. But if you like shinier objects, you might like this one. Now, it does get a little bit more fingerprints on the back, and that camera design is relatively different, a lot more horizontal on this device. You can see it's also pretty flush here to the body, which is nice to see. And also on the sides of the Galaxy S10 Plus, we do see aluminum body. So it kind of feels similar though, but a lot more lightweight than the heft of the stainless steel on the 11 Pro Max. This is the base model Galaxy S10 Plus. They also make a ceramic model if you do want that. Still the curved display though. And overall, I think it still has a very nice and premium feel, even though this phone is super light. As a matter of fact, the S10 Plus is as light or lighter than the regular 11 Pro. Now, this also has a pretty large 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. And you can see up here at the top right, we do have a cutout, which is a little bit asymmetrical, but some people really still love this design. And you can see that we do have a little bit of a chin at the bottom, a lot more lightweight than that of the 11 Pro Max. And I think it's a little bit more modern, a little bit more innovative than what we see on the 11 Pro Max. But the design overall is a lot less fingerprinty for the 11 Pro Max. So it comes down to your personal preference, which one you prefer. Now, when talking about the display qualities of both phones, they're both beautiful displays. They both still have that cutout on the top right for the S10 Plus and the notch on 11 Pro Max, but both of them are 60 hertz displays, but so they're not the most smooth display out there like maybe a OnePlus 7 Pro, for example, but they're both gorgeous. I will say that the 11 Pro Max is a brighter display from what I'm seeing on the day-to-day. The S10 Plus gets a little bit bright, like really bright in sunlight, but in terms of just everyday practical use where you're actually controlling the brightness slider, I find that the 11 Pro Max is just a brighter looking display. So if you care about that, pick the 11 Pro Max. But in terms of customization, you could change between vivid and natural on the Galaxy S10 Plus. And 11 Pro Max, you do have the True Tone. Now, in terms of watching video, both of them are very nice in this respect. Some people might not prefer having cutouts on their display. In that case, neither one of these might be for you. But I find that the chin is just a little bit bigger there for the Galaxy S10 Plus. Overall, though, both of these displays I think are really going to impress. Now, when it comes to the software between both of these phones, they're both pretty similar in terms of the core features, like being a big, large smartphone with tons of apps, but the Galaxy S10 Plus is a lot more advanced when it comes to the features you have on this phone. For example, when you're playing YouTube, you have picture-in-picture. This is on pretty much all Android phones. But not only that, on the Galaxy, you can also pop view multiple applications on this phone, and it supports Samsung DeX, so you can make your phone connected to a monitor and basically turn this thing into a little computer. This is a powerhouse of a smartphone. Also, you can do split screen multitasking, something you can't do still on the 11 Pro Max. However, on the 11 Pro Max, you still have plenty of features, but not the customization like you see here for the Galaxy S10 Plus. You still have your widgets off to the left here in iOS 13. There are new wallpapers for pretty much every iPhone. The dark mode comes here, which is a hugely beneficial feature for people who do read their phone at night or just use it at night. It's really helpful on the eyes on iOS 13. Also, don't think that there's not a lot of features. There's a new voice control feature. Shortcuts comes here stock to iOS 13. So there's a lot that you can do on iOS 13, but there's not a lot you can customize on this software. So we're still in a stage of it's down to simplicity of iOS versus the customization of an Android smartphone, specifically here a Samsung skinned One UI phone in the Galaxy S10 Plus. So that story hasn't changed much. Now, when it comes to the storage, the iPhone 11 Pro Max does feature only 64 gigs to start. This 256 gig model is $1249. So the S10 Plus is a far better value in storage, 128 gigabytes standard. Now, when it comes to their cameras, this is the star of both of these phones show right here, the triple cameras. Now, Apple is catching up to Samsung, but they also, I think, did a better job when it comes to the final results that you do get out of the iPhone's triple 12 megapixel camera versus the dual 12 megapixel plus we have a 16 megapixel ultra wide. Now, on the front facing camera, Apple one up Samsung here with 4K 60 recording available and slow motion. Now, you do have a depth sensor for better background blur, but I don't think that's as useful as higher quality video on the front. But you do get 4K video on the front of the Galaxy S10 Plus as well. And they both do give you telephoto, wide angle, and ultra wide angle cameras. They're both very feature packed in their camera software as well, which is a great thing. But the Galaxy still has a lot more, settings like right there in the camera app itself. So, and a little bit more fine-tuned control with the Pro mode. So you do have to download a separate app, maybe like a manual camera app, to get a little bit more fine-tuned control on the iPhone. But the results that come out of it, and they're only going to get better with Deep Fusion, are pretty impressive. At the end of the day, I basically found that the Galaxy S10 Plus's pictures just turn out a lot more brighter. The iPhone 11 Pro's pictures a little bit more natural, even if sometimes a little saturated. Take a look at these results and judge for yourself. Now, when it comes to both of these phones' audio, first of all, let's point out the headphone jack. That's something that you're probably not going to see on any more Samsung flagship phones going forward. That began with the Galaxy Note, but you can see USB-C, a lot more universal port than the Lightning port there, which you can also plug the Lightning headphones into. They both have very good audio, I found, in my usage, pretty similar, if anything. Now, when it comes to the actual battery life of both of these, the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Galaxy S10 Plus are the two best battery life phones I've tried all year so far. I even think the S10 Plus lasts a little bit longer than my Galaxy Note 10 Plus. But the 11 Pro Max has a little bit better standby battery life, and I find that it actually gets me maybe half an hour more than the S10 Plus. Moving on to phone call quality, I've actually been having some issues with the 11 Pro Max and having a great reception and switching between Wi-Fi and LTE. I don't know if it's a bug with iOS, but the phone call quality has been superior for me for the Galaxy S10 Plus. So if I was just taking out one of these phones or just picking one of these phones and I was like, I just want a good phone call quality, I'm picking the S10 Plus. So in conclusion, at a cheaper price and having pretty similar features, by far, the S10 Plus is the better value, I think, right here. But the 11 Pro Max, I think, is an overall better smartphone, and let me tell you why. The iOS software will be updated for a long time, so when you're paying this kind of money, you want your stuff updated. It has a little bit better battery life, which is a very practical and important feature, and fast charging. It does have a faster chip, and the cameras do produce a little bit better results, in my personal opinion. Also, the Super Retina XDR display is a lot more brighter in actual usage, and again, with that A13 chip, man, this thing is just going to last a very long time, even if it doesn't look super, innovative or anything like that. It looks kind of similar to the XS Max. And the textured back is just like the cherry on top. But overall, you can't go wrong with the S10 Plus either. It's a beautiful smartphone, super lightweight, super premium, and these two are just so amazing. It's so hard to pick, but I think that S10 Plus, better value, iPhone 11 Pro Max, maybe a slightly better phone and like battery in terms of screen being a little bit brighter, and also maybe that textured back just feels a little bit nicer than the S10 Plus. But that's my overall take. Which one would you pick? Let me know down below. And if you got any questions, comments, concerns, drop those as well. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick here. Be sure to be well and peace.